Todd is not only a remarkable, successful 30-year titan in business with having multiple businesses that generate multiplied millions of dollars.
And if that plan happens to be to build $1 million company, which I can help you do.
But he's humble. He's a man of God. He's a family man.
The world's news organizations are built on everything but positivity.
He is an influential entrepreneur and business speaker for over 30 years.
I've got to forecast. I've got to pronounce. I've got to project. I've got to share with you my ideas, my vision, my goals for not only myself, but for you.
That's why he came up with his incredible concept of taking and creating a platform for people that are wired differently.
And you got to understand that your habits of your person and your habits of your business and your habits of your spirituality have to lead to the North Star of who you are. We need to figure out who we want to be in life. Jen Rowland. Good morning, everybody. Jen Rowland is in the house this morning. I got her stashed behind the screen. She's like, if you could get behind the screen, she would be there. You could see her, but I can't let her out because I got to talk about her. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Monday. No, it's not Friday. It's Monday. All right, so here's the deal. Monday's that day where you just got to get up, get going, and make it work, right? I think we need to decide that Monday is our favorite day. I think we could probably kind of flip that, but I don't know. Here's what's going to make today your favorite Mondays, because Jen Rowland is going to be on the show with me this morning. And so Jen Rowland has a very special a place in my heart, my mind, and even my soul. She is one of my coaching students. She's been in my life for almost a year now. I think it's got to be a full year. If not, it seems like a great year. She's been great. She came to the Tiki Hut retreat. She's been involved in all of my group coaching. She never misses a class. She's the most reliable person in the planet. Come on now, Jen Rowland. Jen Rowland is a counselor, right? What? Not really a counselor. What? I thought you said she was a counselor. No, Todd, she's not just a counselor. She's a coach. When she become a coach? Well, she's been a counselor for 20 years. And then she decided to become a coach. No, I didn't convert her into a coach. She decided that she had given 20 plus years into counseling and that this gift of being a counselor has been a blessing to her and so many other people. But she has also decided that there's a different path for her, right? Matthew 7:13 says, enter through the narrow gate, for the wide gate and the broad is the road that leads us to destruction, and many enter through it, but small is the gap or the path. Small is the gate or the path, and narrow the road that leads to life, and only a few fit in. So her path changed a little bit. Our paths changed a little bit. Paths happen. Paths move. Life changed. And that's, I think, what coaching is about. Counseling is a little bit about like where you at, how you feeling. Let's move forward where we're at. Coaching is more about motivating. Let's put a strategy together. Let's get to that place where you want. And so Jen's going to get out here and talk to us about why her life has changed and why she's moved her path. Right? Jen Rowland, without further ado, let's get Jen Rowland on here right now. Jen, how are you?
Good morning. Now, this is a way to start a Monday with you.
I know.
Absolutely.
Monday. I had to throw out a scripture for you because it was this morning's verse, and I started thinking about your path, everybody's paths, and we move through paths and things kind of change in our life. And I just think it's remarkable to think about your substance and your adversity. Your adversity, you're able to always push back. Resilience is a word you like to use in your coaching and in your mindset training. And so one of the things I want to just kind of talk to you about, and I start all my guests off this way. It's kind of an easy question, so I kind of maybe leaked it a little bit to you. And so this is my way of saying, okay, Jen, why are you wired differently? What does wired differently mean to you? And kind of incorporate it into your story so these viewers can understand what is going on with you.
Well, wired differently. Whenever I first met you, that really stuck out at me because I thought, oh my gosh, there's somebody else out there like me. I'm wired differently, and wired differently people oftentimes get themselves into trouble because they're trailblazers.
Yeah.
And so when I met you and I saw your brand and what you're trying to do, it just resonated with me big time because I thought, okay, there's other people out there like me. I'm not alone. And I need to be around people who are further along in the journey, who have bigger dreams than me because they keep me motivated, inspired, and kick my butt when I'm having a bad day.
Well, I think it's kind of funny because if you've been following me, I'm kind of a Detroit Lions fan, right? And I don't, do you watch sports, Jen?
I'm a Steeler fan all the way.
Okay. All right. So then you understand a little bit about that idea. There's more of us out there. Like the Lions have been losing for 100 years. And I remember going to some of these games when we were losing so often. And I would love it because I could go to that stadium and it would be like, there's more of us out there. Like, no, we would never wear our shirts or our hats. Anyway, well, the Steelers, you could wear your shirts and hats all the time because you win like Super Bowls like every Sunday. But we never had one. We're perennial losers, and you can't leave your team. It's like you bring a dog home and you're stuck with it for 9-10 years, even if it pees all over everything, right? You're stuck with it. You can't get rid of it. Children are the same way, right? So your team. But man, the idea of collecting people with like minds, even in an adverse scenario, and that's what your gift is. You are like, you guys, you have no idea. I have the privilege to coaching and working with Herb, and then at the end of every lesson we have, it's like, okay, Jen, how can you help me? Oh, Todd, I'll help you write curriculum. I'm doing my best. I'll help you. What can I do for you? I'll pray for you. It's like the double blessing. I'm like, I should be writing her checks. She's so amazing.
I'm okay with that.
Well, we're working on it. So, anyways, I guess I want to just kind of give you that shout out and that blessing. So I wanted to just kind of explain to everybody that you have made a full shift from basically being a full-time amazing counselor. So why don't you take us through your Wire Differently journey, your idea of what was the last 20 years of counseling? We have lots of viewers on here this morning. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for jumping in. Debbie, I know you know Debbie. Debbie's out here. She's doing this.
Yay, Debbie.
Your gang's all out here, man. It's great to see everybody supporting there. Look at this. All right, Christina, everybody. All right, so take us through this journey of what was counseling, why it meant so much to you. And then I gave you a term. We haven't decided to use it yet, but we become what's called a counselor. And then you got to explain that. And then you either have to say you're going to keep it or what you're going to do. But I want the world to know. So Jen, turn on your lights.
All right. So here's the deal. Counseling 20 years. I love people. I love to help them. I'm a big believer of hope. I believe that there's always another opportunity, another possibility. A lot of times we just can't see it. And so I'm just all about helping people kind of go through the weeds in that area. So, but here, what happens is sometimes counselors like myself, I just got tired, burnout. Both my husband and I have been in the people business for 20 years and just really exhausted, kind of didn't know what to do with ourselves. And COVID sort of unloaded that space for me. And I got to get out, doing virtual stuff all day long. And I just had to make a quick decision at coaching. I'm like, I'll try that. Let's just try coaching. I had no idea if I even believed in coaching because a counselor, I had to do all this training, but a coach, you just get a certificate. And I'm like, okay, I'm doing it.
Hey.
I'm teasing. But it's all about your experience. It's using your experience in coaching. And that's what I learned. So as a counselor, I was not really allowed to share who I was in counseling. And I love to talk, and I love to talk about me. I'm just being honest. But the space was in coaching, that's what's expected of you, to share your experience. And I had so much experience just with all the things that we went through in ministry, all of my situations in counseling. And I just knew I needed to continue to use that, but I didn't know how. And when I saw coaching, I'm like, oh, I totally could do this. I know it. It's actually a lot harder than it appears. So over the last 3 years, I've made a massive shift, closed my practice. My husband resigned from his ministry job. We moved south. Literally started over, new life, new friends, new town, new everything. And really, I just reinvented myself. I'm not saying that you should do that all the time, but that's kind of what I had to do. I was so burnt out. I needed to make such a shift. So I just decided to find a town. We searched the South. We found a place that we love to live. And we've just made a life of ourselves. And I've met fantastic people. And in the meantime, I'm just like drawing coaches as I'm doing coaching and consulting with businesses. I just keep drawing more coaches. And so I said, you know what, guys, like, let's get together. Let's make something of this. I really think that as coaches, we can help each other, refer, be a community, because we understand the uniqueness and the challenges that are within a coaching community. And so I, in the midst of starting Rowland Leadership Training and Consulting, I also started C2C Collaborative, and it's a counselor to coach training, but it's also a coach to coach training, because I teach so many coaches on that mind shift from wherever they are to wherever they need to be. So that's the very short version of a 20-year story. So what do you have for me?
Well, I got to tell you, I think that the show's not long enough for us because we both like to talk about each other. We both like to talk about our experiences. And I think that probably, okay, so the term, until she corrects me, I want you to understand, I'm helping brand her. She is the very first in the world, coach counselor. Look, so like you need to understand, Jesus was actually the very first coach counselor. I did my research. Okay, there's no research. You can't Google it, so we can say what we want to say. But Jesus was a counselor. He was a teacher. He was he was a coach, right? And so Jesus, I guess, would be the first coach counselor. But I want to sell Jen a little bit. I want to sell you on the fact that this person is phenomenal. Not just because she's here on the show and looking the way she's looking and confident. She wasn't always this confident, everybody. Matter of fact, she wasn't this confident even a year ago, right? Because she wasn't certain where she was going. Now she's certain where she's going. She's certain of her path. Matthew 7:13 says the gate is narrow. She took the narrow gate. She could have taken the path where everywhere all the other coaches are going. But no, she became a coach counselor. She said, I'm going to go the place where I'm needed, where I'm called. I'm going to go in a place that nobody has really went before. I'm going in a place where I feel the pain. And if I feel the pain, there must be some others feeling the pain. I don't want to leave my past behind and all the works of 20 years and all the actual certifications that I have. I want to go into a space that's a little more fun, a little more empowering for me to give to others. But what can I bring from the past through the narrow gate that I have now? And so I want you all to think about that, right? And this is my teaching moment this morning is, what do you have in inventory? What is your past in inventory? What is this thing that you've packaged in the past that you're ready to move in the forward with and pull out and say, how will that make my new self better in my new path, right? Jen is brave. You need to be brave, right? Because this calling is going to stay repressed in you. So I want you to just think about, what has Jen done? How is Jen going to do it? How is Jen going to keep moving through this? Because this coach counselor is a path where she's mixed this counseling from the past, and she's taken the best of the past, put it in a cocktail, shaking it up, and now making the future even better with coaching. So I want to hear for you, for many of these counselors out there that are in the counseling world, even coaches now that are in the coaching world, which we know there's a lot of us out there. There's a lot of coaches out there. Like there's tons of us. And one of the things we talk about in coaching and in my some 8 or 9 students that I have is we're always looking for that niche. We're always looking for the narrow gate, the narrow spot, so we can carve out our people, our Detroit Lions, and there's Wired Differently people like we talked about. We're carving them out, and then we're going to bring them together. And so one of the interesting things about you is that you're out there, not really, you said you like to talk about yourself, which is a very honest place, but you do it very well. But you really want to bring other coaches together. That is your movement, right? So explain that piece of how you're going to pull us together, Jen.
Well, I like what you said about the niche. I believe that we're all wired differently. A lot of us just don't know that and aren't willing to be brave enough to go deep enough to find that wired differently, because ultimately it's God's design. And so my heart is to share and help people discover what their God design is. And when we really lean into that uniqueness, whether it is a counselor and that experience or a financial person or whatever, when we really lean into who we've been called to be, there's no stopping us. And part of my journey was when I was done with counseling, I wanted to really leave it behind, but that's 20 years in the making. And actually it's a lifetime in the making. So it was tough for me. And I'll tell you, honestly, it was you and a few other strong voices in my life saying, Jen, you've got something here. Don't ignore it. And I'm like, I don't want it. I don't want to be a part of it. I just want to leave that life, because I felt maybe a little betrayed by it, a little wounded by it. And so I just wanted to walk away from it. But the more and more I tried to walk away, the more and more it pulled me in. And in that, there was a huge time of healing for me as I separated myself from counseling. But then a couple of weeks ago, I was down in Nashville doing a workshop for counselors on how to become a coach.
Yes.
And I'll tell you, my heart softened tremendously for those folks, because they're hurting and I was hurting and I felt alone. And in that moment, I felt like, first of all, I found my people. And secondly, I knew I could help them because I had taken that journey. And it is a journey of being brave, and it's risk taking. And I didn't know what was on the other side. But for me, it was a bit of a do or die. I knew I couldn't stay where I was. And so I jumped the first place that I found. I don't know that I recommend that to everybody, but that's what I did, because that's how I roll. I'm a little wired differently.
Yeah, well, we had our Tiki Hut event. Tyler Pedersen he was one of your buddies out there. Well, they were all your friends.
They were.
Yeah, and we went on this. This is why I got to tell you a story about Jen. Like we did the Egmont Key Leadership Scavenger Hunt excursion. Jen obviously excelled. She found every Easter egg out there. There was no Easter eggs, but we had a good time. If there were, they were maybe turtle eggs. But so that was that. But we went to Triumph, and Triumph was this place where like mere mortals would be broke, right? Brandon's the only one that made it through level 5, and Nick Walenda was there coaching and doing things, and Nick didn't even go on level. He didn't even get up there, but Brandon was like a, I don't know, like he was crazy, like a monkey. He was everywhere. It's amazing. But Jen, out of everybody, she was like, I'm going. I'm gonna hit this course with a vengeance. It was kind of hot. It was very hot. It was tiresome. And I'm not saying ladies versus men or anything, but she was kicking men's tails on this. And we were like, Jen, you can come down now. Jen, you proved your point. No, Todd, I'm going to go down this zip line one arm. I'm like, Jen, no, your husband will never let you come back. Right? She was just amazing. And I think that you need to understand, one of the things you need to take from her is this jump mentality, right? Sometimes we just have to jump. Sometimes we have to pack our parachute, right? Just pack it. Don't let anyone, never let anybody else pack your damn parachute, right? It's your parachute. You pack it, you fold it, you zip it, you do everything you're going to do because you know you're going to jump, right? You know that you're going to leap. You've planned it, you put it together, and you jump. The parachute will open. We've prepared for it. We believe in it. It's time to attack. And Jen has done that. And so what I want you to understand in a trailblazer mentality like this, I know I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, because I know that you're near how you can't leave this. Your internal being is built like a counselor, right? And so a lot of people have to understand a coach counselor. You got to tell me, stop using the word if you want me to stop using it, because listen, I see people are putting it on here. I think you better PM that bad boy. But the coach counselor is this person who can't leave the sincere. I think you're better. I think you're better than me. You have more compassion. I think a coach counselor is the way to go, right? Because they have the compassion. I'm like, why aren't you doing your reps, man? I don't have time for this. Listen, you want me to coach you, but Jen's more like, oh, there's a reason why this isn't working for you. Let's just settle down. You're going to be okay. There's 9 billion people in this world, and you're above average, and we're going to continue to make you above. I mean, like so that's the beauty of the coach counselor. So give me the 3 things that you're glad to leave behind, if you will, in the coach in the counseling role, and then give me 3 things that are going to put you in a different league, that are putting you in a different league in the coaching role, and give us the beauty. Sell us on the coach counselor, because when you first came to me, we weren't digging at this, man. We were digging around doing. I mean, I went to your old website and everything. I'm like, no, we're landing on this bad boy, and we're taking it. Like Grant took. We're going like Plymouth Rock. We're taking it, right? Give us 3 negatives on the counseling that got you to this point where you're going to give these 3 positives on coaching. You ready? You thinking?
I'm ready.
All right, let's go.
Okay, so I don't mind leaving the insurance business, credentialing with all the healthcare companies. I don't mind that at all. I'm not a detailed person, which gets me into trouble. And I always had to rely on somebody else to do that for me. And it was just a pain in the butt. I hated it. I felt boxed in my space. I literally was in a box because it was my office. So I felt very tight. And I never was able to advertise anything. And so I had to trust other people to advertise for me, word of mouth, that kind of thing. And that's all good. But I love this is where I'm leaning towards the coaching space. I love being around people. I love, even if it's just for a minute, to inspire them, to encourage them. I love being able to ask the questions in networking events and stuff that most people wouldn't ask. That's something that I took from my counseling space, is I ask the questions that people might be thinking about. And it really opens up new connections, new community, and a new awareness for people. I love people. I'm happy to not go so dark and deep. That's what I called it in counseling. I'm glad that I'm not at that dark and deep space with every single person that I meet, but I just give them just like a little dash of hope, a little sprinkle of hope, like, go get them, tiger. I really love being able to do that. But I know that if we have to have hard conversations, I'll have them. And I am nice. But there is a line when I'm like, all right, suck it up, buttercup. Let's roll. So that's my family.
I've seen it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I love this coaching space. I love helping people. I love that I can do it anywhere at any time. And I'm not all the ethics and the legalities and liabilities aren't necessarily hanging over me as they used to be.
Mm-hmm. All right. So that's good. So let's pick on somebody right now. Let's spin the wheel. We got, like, I don't know. We have a lot of people live here, well over 20, and this guy. What in a world? That's what happens when you have the power of the show. We can pick on people. So why don't we just talk about one of the greatest coaches of all time, one of the greatest in, like, this guy. You may just tell you how influencing works. So the tiki hat's rolling around, and Gary, who would travel 100 miles barefoot in the snow to do anything for anybody, and he's done it for me. He drove to Pittsburgh. He drove all over to see me on my Battleground tour with Sebastian and Dennis Prager and all these guys. Thank goodness for him. But he hasn't been able to make it. So I call him, say, you come to the Tiki Hut? And he says, I can't make it. I said, why? You always can't make my big deals. He said, I'm trying. He said, but you got to meet Jen. So he gives me Jen. Jen gets on the phone. We have a conversation. We hit it off, and Jen shows up at the Tiki Hut. So I just want to say, Garrett, I'm so glad Jen was there instead of you. You're out there hog hunting and doing what you're doing. Anyways, tell me about this guy and how he put us together and what he means to you. This is a good time to fill him up a little bit. This guy's amazing. Gary Arblaster. This is how
Gary is really, he's a game changer for our entire family. We went through some pretty challenging times the last few years, and Gary walked with us, both with myself and my husband. He is a rock star in just telling us the truth and speaking just real, honest feedback to us. There are times I actually called Gary crying. I'm like, Gary, I can't do this anymore. This is too hard. I don't want to. And he's just like, Jen, get up and get going, wipe those tears and get back out there. This is what you're called to do. And he has been a phenomenal friend to all of us in our family. I'm so grateful for him. And he knows how to connect some dots here, because he definitely put the two of us together.
Can't imagine him getting any tougher with you than that. Like, stop. What was that? Stop. Wipe your tears off.
Oh, he gets tough. He does.
Well,
I need it.
He is a very gentle soul. I see you guys too as gentle souls, but I think that he might have a little bit rougher edge than you. You're probably right. So Gary, thanks for putting the two of us together. Gary is going to be on my Friday show soon. We have to get him booked. We've got some really great guests coming up. And so it's awesome. But Jen, this has been a great thing. So I want to get rid of this. I don't want to get rid of him, but I got to back him out here. We're going to wrap this show up. We got 4 minutes. And so here's what I really want you to do. I want you to encourage people. And so I'm going to let you put on your motivational hat here, right? And here, I want to coach you up here just a little bit. I want you to understand that I'm going to play some music here. And this is your time to just wrap up what counselor means to you, what this means to you, to really break open in this C2C space. I want everyone to understand that Jen, she's a coach, but what she's doing is pulling coaches together in a space predominantly. We're still working on it, but she's still working on it. But predominantly, she has created the first space to take burnout coaches and move them from a space of counseling into a space of coaching. Think about how brilliant that concept is. And I'm giving her all the credit in the world for it. It's brilliant because she felt the pain, right? She saw, listen, the only way we're going to make money in this world is to solve what? Problems for other people. Our value is only based on our ability to solve problems for other people. If you work at a McDonald's, you're solving the food problem. If you work at a Taco Bell, if you work at a Tom Donut, if you do, even as an employee, as a manager, you're solving people problems. As a customer service, you're solving customer service problems. We're only paid in direct compensation value to the problems that we're able to solve for other people. And Jen's saying, hey, listen, I got a problem. I don't like this anymore. I feel like I should be over here. Whoa, wait a minute. There is hundreds and thousands of people over there feeling the pain that I'm feeling. I want to bring them with me. Brilliant. Where are you at in your life? What's going on? Huh? What problems can you solve? Where are we at in this whole situation? So I'm just going to let Jen motivate us a little bit. I'm going to give you the music. You're going to take us out here, Jen. You are amazing.
Well, what I want to do is give you some hope. When you hit rock bottom, when you hit the walls, when the doors are shut, keep looking. Don't quit. What I found, it's just important to have good people around you. And as you saw today, I do have a couple great people around me that are pushing me and challenging me. And so if you don't have people that are further along in your journey, then get some. Find strong people that can support you and challenge you. Our God design is so unique. and we need to live it out. And our world is going to be a better place when we do that. So please, for the sake of all of us, lean into your unique gifts and be hope for yourself, but then be hope for somebody else today as well. Thanks so much for having me, Todd. I appreciate it.
Jen, you're just spectacular. Listen, the gate is narrow, right? We hear about in Matthew, the gate is narrow. Pick the narrow gate. Find your niche. Follow God. Follow your heart. Follow your soul. Pray about it. And get it on like Donkey Kong and let it rip potato chips because Jesus said so. All right, you guys. Jen, spectacular. Tell everybody I said hi. I'll see you soon at our next class. It's coming up Thursday. Be ready.
Oh, yeah, I guess I better.
Yeah. Well, you're always a...
I know.
All right, guys. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day.
See ya.